What is going on, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to my Nintendo Switch and Gaming News Village, P Ninjas. Today we've got some great information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So Blaster Master Zero is launching tomorrow on the Nintendo eShop for the Nintendo Switch and the 3DS, but many fans were a little upset to hear that there won't be Pro Controller support on the Nintendo Switch. Well, worry not, Inti Creates has announced that on March 16th, Blaster Master Zero, the Nintendo Switch version, will receive an update in all regions that will enable Pro Controller support. So not quite day one like everyone was hoping, but it still is coming. Blaster Master Zero is actually looking really awesome. I tried to get a review code, but I think it was too late, so I'll probably just be buying the game and playing it on launch day just like you dudes. So yeah, it's looking really good, although I really would have liked for there to be Pro Controller support from day one, and I think Nintendo really needs to make sure and push that these developers, if you're releasing a game on the Nintendo Switch, that it has Pro Controller support from day one. Don't let it be to where you only have one support for one controller. I even know some people on Twitter that were saying that they're not going to buy the game unless it has the support, so that's definitely not good. You don't want people not buying the game because it doesn't support, you know, Nintendo's nice $70 controller that people bought. And remember, the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller and the Joy-Cons are essentially the same when it comes to button layout and things, so there's no reason why developers can't bring it out. Now, I know that Inti Creates is a small development team, and that probably played a factor into it, having that support in there, but that's something that they really need to make sure that they nail down from the very beginning, is making sure that both controllers are supported 100% evenly. Unless your game is some type of 1-2 switch or crazy motion control game, there should be no excuse at this point. But I do understand it is a small team. They did say March 16th is the day. You're going to pick it up tomorrow. You will have that support for the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller coming very soon. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. But moving on to the next article here, Nintendo has actually talked about supporting Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. Nintendo said that they're in talks with those companies and they're coming. So here's what Reggie Fils-Aime had to say on the matter. Quote, "We're talking to a range of companies about other services. Companies like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, things like that will come in time. In our view, these are not differentiators. What differentiates us is the way you play with the Nintendo Switch and what you can play. And that will continue to be our focus into the future as we continue driving this platform." And I have to 100% agree with Nintendo on this one, just because I'm comparing Wii U to Nintendo Switch. Wii U had everything when it comes to Netflix, Hulu, and all of that, and it seemed to me like it really just made the launch a disaster with the big day one update and patching and bricking that went on. Now, Nintendo Switch definitely has its own issues, but if they also had all of that stuff, like a big day one update in addition to the issues right now, then they would have really been in trouble when it comes to certain things. I think it still would have sold amazing though, but the whole thing about the Nintendo Switch is just about playing games. That's the biggest thing. So like I've said many times before, the support will come down the line. They've already talked about it. This is, I think, the second or third time Reggie came out and said, yeah, we have those apps, they're going to come at a later date. So once again, he says that they are coming. I'm not huge on the whole media services thing. That's cool if they have them, but I already have so many devices, even my own TV that has it, in addition to various other mobile platforms that have it. I have an NVIDIA Shield tablet that's actually better to watch it on there than anything. So for me, it's not a big deal, but I understand for some people that it could be something that they want. But yeah, that support is definitely coming for Hulu, Netflix, and YouTube, and all that stuff. And we should see it within the next couple months on the Nintendo Switch, as Nintendo continues to just make sure that the platform is out and stable and fixes any issues that are currently going on. Alright, and next, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild director talks about moving/adjusting the game to the Nintendo Switch. So this comes from the awesome and amazing Bubiyashi over at Nintendo. Quote, "Honestly, it was a little bit concerning for me. We did have the Wii U gamepad in mind when we created the Sheikah Slate, when we had to create it for the Nintendo Switch, and also make sure that the players had the same experience on both platforms. We had to do things like remove the touch controls and adjust the button assignment a little bit. When we started testing it out and trying different configurations, we realized that it actually works better if you keep your focus on the TV screen rather than going back and forth between the second screen and the TV. As we started to flesh this out, it really turned out that this was the best way to enjoy the game. We thought that it might come our way, a request for a Switch version. It wasn't actually the shock that people might imagine." So I wouldn't think this would be a shock at all. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch was coming out around the same time as the Wii U version or whatever the case is. But yeah, looking back and forth, that was an idea that Nintendo just didn't really flesh out. Like, I don't think people really wanted to look back and forth between the TV. I mean, it's an interesting proposition at first, but then once you start to do it, after a while, it actually gets kind of annoying. Now, I understand some people don't mind looking back and forth between two screens, but obviously that concept doesn't work. And focusing on just one screen is probably the best way to go about things if you don't want to have that disconnect between what you actually see on the screen and what's going on. So I have to agree with him there. I think the Wii U gamepad had some cool ideas, but I think going forward, as far as for Nintendo and looking at the sales as far as the Wii U compared to the Nintendo Switch and what's going on, obviously there's other factors, but people really just want to be able to play games on there, and you can innovate, you can do some cool things, you can add Joy-Cons and all that stuff, but just keep your focus on one screen. There's no need to go back and forth and look up and down in a game. I don't think that's what makes a game better or not. What really makes the games good when it comes to Nintendo is how you program it, how it's developed, the ideas. The Breath of the Wild is filled with so many great and unique ideas. I'm glad that they really just hammered in and focused in on what was important. I was making sure that you experienced that right then and there. I do feel a little bit sorry for some people who bought the game on Wii U and were expecting some touchscreen controls or looking back and forth. But at the same time, I'm really glad that the Nintendo Switch got this version and you're not looking back and forth, because I think that would have actually taken away from the experience. But that's just my opinion on the matter. I know there's a lot of you dudes that probably out there that were looking forward to that. All right, now we have some big news when it comes to RiME, because this has kind of caused a little bit of a firestorm, and I think I'll do my best to explain what's going on with it. So here was what the developers Tequila Works had to say about RiME, which is hitting the Nintendo Switch later this summer. And it's just that they also released some pricing, and that's where everyone has kind of got into a tizzy on it. So here's the press release first. So Greybox 6-foot independent developer Tequila Works have announced RiME, the highly anticipated puzzle adventure game, has a confirmed release date of May 26 for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and PC. It will arrive both retail and digital store shelves at a suggested retail price of $29.99. Shortly afterwards, RiME will launch on the Nintendo Switch, allowing players to take the adventure with them anywhere on the go, utilizing the system's portability as the physical and digital release with a suggested retail price of $39.99. RiME is a single-player puzzle adventure game about discovery, experienced through the eyes of a young boy who awakens on a mysterious island after shipwrecking off its coast. Players must navigate the island's secrets by making use of light, sound, perspective, and even time. Inspired by the rugged, sun-baked terrain of the Mediterranean coast, RiME paints its breathtaking world with a fusion of vibrant colors and moving musical undertones to set the stage for a deeply personal journey that awaits within. Now, RiME actually talked about the Nintendo Switch getting a higher price, and here's what they had to say. Quote, "We set prices for our products based on the cost of development and publishing for each specific platform." So that's their PR on that. So let's talk about this a little bit, because RiME actually looks good, and I know there was a lot of Nintendo fans that were looking forward to this, but now I'm feeling a little jaded that the actual Nintendo Switch version costs more. So let's think logically about it first. Why does RiME cost more on the Nintendo Switch than it does on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC? So let me first and foremost say that they shouldn't expect this version to do better because of the added cost. That's something that I think that they're already taking into consideration, that it costs more and it comes out later than the PS4, Xbox One versions, PC versions of the game. Now, with the Nintendo Switch, they are not handling that version internally. They are actually putting that out to another developer, and that is the same developer that's doing Sonic Mania. I know they did like Mass Effect. I think it's like Straight Right. They've done lots of different stuff beforehand. So it's essentially a contractor. They've contracted out this company to do that. Now, depending on where they are, and I think they're in Australia, and the rates as far as how much it costs, I think that's where you're getting factored into the cost here. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely right, but I definitely think that's what's going on. Now, I've worked personally, as far as my own personal careers go, when it comes to staffing and when it comes to contractors, you have a higher billing rate than what you actually pay to the person there, so what you're charging the customer. So it looks like that's kind of what's going on at this point. Got this other development team to port this game over, but the costs of actually doing that are a little bit higher, and they feel that they won't make a return on investment if they don't charge this type of price for the game. So that's the only thing that I can think of. Now, also, if you look at the Nintendo Switch, in order to get a quality port of this, you do have to have separate modes. You have your portable mode, which you can do, it kind of cuts things down depending on battery life and where you want to go. Then you also have your docked mode, which can increase the performance or have a battery hookup, so lets it run at its full capacity. So there are different things that play a factor into the development of the Nintendo Switch version that can be different from the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So definitely not agreeing with them and saying that they should be doing this. I think if they're going to do anything, maybe $5 more at the max. I don't think it was a good idea to do $10 more, but I do understand, just coming from the background that I have as far as business goes and staffing, then I can see what they're trying to do here, but I just think that it's a little bit higher than what they should have done, or they should promise Nintendo Switch owners actual extra content or something else in order to make up for that. But yeah, People are not happy with this result. People do not like the fact that it costs $10 more, and I don't think this team, Tequila Works, is expecting the Nintendo Switch version to do outstandingly or really well or anything like that. I think they're just going to cut their losses when it comes to people being upset or not, and take whoever want to just experience the game then and there, even though it's $10 more. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. This game looks cool. I was probably going to get a review copy for it, and I'm definitely still going to play it on the Nintendo Switch, but at the same time it sucks for all of those who are saying, man, why does this game cost $10 more on our platform? But obviously they gave a very simple explanation, and it's not good enough for a lot of people. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content that's going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you ninjas for the next video. Peace.